There was once a young man who spent most of his life trying to be liked. He wanted people to admire him, to respect him, to approve of him. Every decision he made was influenced by what others might think. The clothes he wore, the words he spoke, the goals he pursued, even the dreams he abandoned. Everything was filtered through the same question. What will people think of me? At first, he believed this was normal. After all, everyone wants acceptance. Everyone wants belonging. Everyone wants to feel valued. But over time, something began to happen. The more approval he chased, the less free he became. Every criticism felt like an attack. Every rejection felt like a wound. Every disagreement felt personal. His happiness depended on people he couldn't control. And because of that, peace became impossible. One day, exhausted by his own insecurity, he joined a martial arts gym. He wasn't looking for wisdom. He wasn't looking for life lessons. He simply wanted confidence. The gym was filled with people stronger than him, faster than him, more experienced than him. At first, he felt intimidated. Every training session felt like a test. Every mistake felt embarrassing. Every correction felt humiliating. He constantly worried about how he looked, whether others respected him, whether they thought he belonged there. But something interesting happened. Nobody cared. The experienced fighters weren't watching him. They weren't judging him. They weren't analyzing his mistakes. They were focused on their own training, their own weaknesses, their own improvement. For the first time, he realized something shocking. Most people are too busy thinking about themselves to spend much time thinking about you. The prison he had built existed mostly inside his own mind. This realization was uncomfortable, but it was also liberating, because if people weren't paying as much attention as he imagined, then perhaps he could finally stop performing. Perhaps he could stop pretending. Perhaps he could simply be himself. Months passed. The training became harder. The lessons became deeper. One evening after sparring, the coach gathered everyone together. He pointed toward the ring and asked a question. Why do people enter combat sports? The answers varied. To get stronger, to learn self-defense, to get in shape, to compete. The coach nodded. Then he said something unexpected. Most people come here because they want confidence. The room became silent, because everyone knew he was right. Then he continued. And almost all of them misunderstand confidence. The young man listened carefully. The coach explained. Most people believe confidence comes from winning, from praise, from success, from recognition. But real confidence comes from something entirely different. Trust. Trust in yourself. Trust that you can face difficulty. Trust that you can survive discomfort. Trust that you can handle uncertainty. This idea changed everything. Because trust is built differently than approval. Approval comes from others. Trust comes from action. Every early morning workout builds trust. Every difficult session builds trust. Every promise kept builds trust. Every challenge faced builds trust. Slowly, the young man stopped asking, "Do people like me?" and started asking, "Can I trust myself?" The difference was enormous. One question created anxiety. The other created strength. Years passed. The young man improved. His technique became sharper. His conditioning improved. His confidence grew. But the biggest transformation wasn't physical. It was psychological. He stopped explaining himself, stopped defending every decision, stopped needing everyone to agree with him, because he finally understood something. You don't need universal approval to live a meaningful life. In fact, many of the greatest people in history were misunderstood, criticized, rejected, mocked. And yet they continued, not because they enjoyed criticism, because they valued their purpose more than public opinion. The Stoics understood this deeply. Marcus Aurelius ruled Rome, yet he constantly reminded himself not to become a slave to praise, because praise and criticism are twins. If one controls you, the other will too. The young fighter remembered this lesson often, especially when life became difficult, especially when people doubted him, especially when others misunderstood his choices. Because once you stop seeking approval, something incredible happens. You regain your energy. Think about how much energy people waste trying to impress others, trying to fit in, trying to avoid criticism, trying to look successful, trying to appear confident. It's exhausting. And worst of all, it rarely works. There will always be someone who dislikes you, someone who misunderstands you, someone who disagrees with you. That is reality, and reality does not need your permission. One day, a new student joined the gym. The young fighter recognized the look immediately, the insecurity, the self-consciousness, the need for approval. He saw his younger self standing in front of him. After training, the student approached him. "Nervous?" the fighter asked. The student laughed. "Very." The fighter smiled. Then he shared the lesson that had changed his own life. "Nobody is thinking about you as much as you think they are." The student laughed. But the fighter continued. "And even if they are, it changes nothing." The student looked confused. The fighter pointed toward the heavy bags. "Those bags don't care about opinions. The ring doesn't care about opinions. Reality doesn't care about opinions. Only effort matters." For a moment, neither spoke. Then the student nodded. Years later, he would remember those words, just as the fighter remembered the lessons his own coach had given him. This is how wisdom travels, not through books alone, but through experience, through struggle, through people who have walked the path before us. The greatest lesson combat sports teach is not how to fight others. It is how to stop fighting yourself. Most people spend their lives at war with their own minds, trying to be enough, trying to be accepted, trying to be perfect. But peace begins when that war ends. Peace begins when you accept that not everyone will understand you. Not everyone will support you. Not everyone will approve of you. And that's okay. Because your purpose is not to satisfy everyone. Your purpose is to become the strongest version of yourself. Not the strongest fighter. Not the strongest person in the room. The strongest version of you. The version that acts despite fear. The version that remains calm under pressure. The version that keeps moving forward despite criticism. The version that no longer needs applause to continue. That is freedom. And freedom is one of the most valuable things a person can possess. So stop asking for permission. Stop seeking approval. Stop waiting for validation. The respect you seek from others begins with the respect you build for yourself. And that process starts today, not tomorrow, not next year, today. If this message resonated with you, subscribe and join this community. Many people watch these videos every week without subscribing, but by subscribing, you help these lessons reach more people who need them. Leave a comment below. I trust myself. And remember, the moment you stop seeking approval is the moment you start becoming free.